Welcome to the ultimate luxury off-road showdown. We are taking two very square-shaped luxury off-roaders today, and we're gonna put them in their true element. I'm driving the 2023 AMG G63. To introduce the opponent today, we've brought along Kevin Cranswick from JLR Royal Oak here in Calgary.
Today be driving the 2023 Defender V8 P525, and I think we'll put up some stiff competition today.
We're going to run them up a snowy hill, see what their traction is all about. We're going to take them to a frozen lake, but we're not going to drag race them because I'm not Matt Watson and you're not watching Car Wild. Welcome to Ghost Lake, Alberta. We are standing on a frozen lake in January and it is 20 inches or more thick. We're sitting at temperatures approximately around 5 degrees Celsius, somewhere in the neighborhood of the 40s in Fahrenheit. Definitely not enough to melt this ice today, but it's definitely gonna make for some really fun driving. And what better two vehicles could we do it in than these two that are standing behind us? Kevin, how do you think your Land Rover is gonna perform today?
I think we brought the right vehicle to put up against the G63. It's going to be a tall task, but let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I think that realistically, both vehicles are similar in a lot of ways in the sense that they both have V8 motors. They're both boxy in their design. I think that realistically, it's going to be a lot of fun of some roaring V8s going around and a true testament to their all-wheel drive systems and other suspension technologies.
Let's get out there and get sideways.
Today's video was sponsored by Continental Tire. Thank you for giving us the grip that we needed to make it through the day.
To the tricky corner. Oh, got some traction issues,
So you look like you were doing some pretty good slides out there today.
You know what? The Defender V8 performed as good as I could have ever imagined. The handling was excellent. The different drive modes worked absolutely perfect on the ice. And I think we stacked up pretty well, all things considered, against that G63.
I think it actually looked really, really good. The Land Rover is really good at being out of control. The G-Wagon was a little bit harder to tame or maintain a longer drift in. Gonna sometimes create a bit of understeer, whatnot. But all in all, I was really impressed. I thought it was super cool at times when I was completely walking the vehicle sideways because of the way that torque split worked out. And to credit to the Land Rover, I think it sounded really good at well, supercharged 5-liter V8.
Absolutely.
Made a really nice noise to it.
No, thank you. I think that, you know, as for the race portion, we were within a couple of seconds of each other. We'll have to look back at the video to see who was right sideways. All in all, pretty good competition so far.
Now that we finally got both vehicles to start driving straight, we're going to leave the frozen Ghost Lake, Alberta, and make our way into the wilderness of the 𝐿𝐼𝐼 Mountains to continue this epic challenge.
Welcome to our uphill drag race. We've got the 2023 Defender V8 110. This packs a 5-liter supercharged V8 with 518 horsepower, 463 foot-pounds of torque, weighs in at 2,450 kilograms. We're gonna do our very best to beat that heavy G63 up the hill. Let's see if we can do it. Come on, baby. Whoa. And I let off way too early there, but I saw Chris's truck there and I'm like, oh, don't get sideways right before the top.
Okay, here I am in the 2023 AMG G63. It's got a load of really nice features. It makes 577 horsepower from a 4-liter bi-turbo hand-built V8 that also delivers 627 pound-feet of torque at a very flat 2,500 to 3,500 RPM. There's also a bit of weight to this vehicle. It's got 5,830 pounds of mass to it. Now it should help me with the traction running up this hill right now. We got to be careful ripping up this hill here to make sure that there's going to be no issues, and we've got spotters on the other side of it all, but we're going to see how this fares out. AMG dynamics are in Pro, the suspension is just in Sport, not Sport Plus, and I've got that powerful rumbling exhaust, so we're going to see how this goes right now.
So we are at our off-road course. This is going to be a 1 versus 1 down to the end of the course, turn around and come back. There's some tight, sketchy spots in here. Luckily, I'm going to use terrain response too. I've chosen the Mud Ruts program. That's going to help me out because it's going to lock both the front and the rear differential. I'm also going to leave it into sport mode. So I'm going to get the stiffer steering feel. I'm going to get the quicker response with the throttle, but it's still going to give me the best traction possible. I guess we're just going to have to see if it's enough to win. I think a little bit of driver ability is going to come into play here. Mazen, after 3 kids, just going to say he might have lost a step. Let's see how it turns out. So we're teeing up the tug of war. I think we give up 350, 400 pounds, give or take. Maslin also outweighs me by a good 40, 50 pounds. As soon as I get a little bit of traction, I'm gonna absolutely hammer it. I think it's gonna be a tough one to take this win. He's got a lot more power than I do and some more weight, but as we've seen up till now, driver skill does count for something.
All my diffs are locked, 1, 2, and 3. I'm in low range. My ESP and ABS brakes are off. I've got it otherwise in trail mode and got everything set up and ready to go. How about you, Kev?
I'm set up in the same mud ruts mode, low range, traction control off, and I think I'm in the right setting.
Okay, it's gonna be an interesting outcome. We'll see which one of us two guys here has the best tug.
You're married, I for sure have the best tug.
No, I'm a married guy. For that reason, I should probably have the best tug you've ever seen. And you know, one day you'll have one too. This is gonna be interesting. We'll see. This is finally where my extra weight and extra heft might come into play, or it may work against me. I mean, I've got a lower profile tire. He might be a little stickier on this, doing this on the snowy surface. So we're gonna see how this goes. Let's just see it all works. Hopes works out for the best. Not sure what Kevin's feeling like. I'm feeling a bit of a tug from him right now. He's an eager young man.
Just want to hear someone's yelling. Something starts smoking.
We cut the tug of war short before it became a tow of war. And now we're heading back to Mercedes-Benz downtown Calgary to debrief on how the epic challenge went today. It's been a long day. Feels like we traveled the earth today. We did a lot of testing. One thing we really did miss was the beautiful sound they made. V8s are a dying breed. They're getting more and more rare. And these two vehicles sound fantastic because they do have V8s. Give it a couple rests for us so we can hear. Just crank it right up. Fortunately,
sounds as mean as it looks.
Unfortunately, it's a soft limiter. I think we have become used to that with all vehicles today, but it sure sounds amazing. Now let's have a listen to this Land Rover.
Please try this out.
I'm gonna see if I can make those exhaust pipes shoot straight up when I hit the throttle. Okay, so you guys let me know if that works out.
Do your very best.
Yeah. Now, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, but on the Land Rovers, is it still the case that you have to press and hold the start-stop button for a bit for it to actually fire up?
You do, absolutely, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, so
hold it down for 2 seconds, foot on the brake. You know what you're doing.
So that is the Land Rover's version of an emotion start?
Technically,
So is the emotion anxiety, is it gonna start?
The emotion is, let's hear what it has to say for itself.
Okay. Ooh, it sounds good. Well, it sounds really good. I can hear that supercharger whip up. That's a 5-liter V8. It's fantastic. One of the things about having a motor that's as old as Ja Rule's last great hit is the fact that it didn't have to conform to the same sound regulations that some of the newer vehicles do. And for that reason, this sounds really good. And I know for a fact it sounds better than the new 4.4-liter twin turbo that's in the newer Range Rovers. That's a BMW source motor, correct?
Absolutely right. We made a couple of changes. We've gone and outsourced our next motor. Great torque, great power, but does it sound the same? I don't think so.
I mean, I guess if you can't beat the Germans, you might as well join them, right?
That's fair. That is a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Maybe let's have an assessment on what happened today.
So what happened today, quite simply, was we paired up what is really a box that at heart is actually a sports car, which is the one right behind me. Probably not an advantage in an off-road situation, given the fact that it's running on 22-inch wheels. with a profile of a tire that's thinner than the thinnest pizza crust you've ever seen. Wasn't probably the most ideal situation in the off-road component. I think it played a good part on the lake. It was fantastic, all the power it put down.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that in order to make it a real comparison, the G550 probably does line up a little bit better off-road. And obviously you've got something like the G63 4x4 squared. That's something that we didn't get to see today, but I'm sure that would have performed pretty well.
Yeah, and I mean, we can't discount the fact that the Defender V8 is considerably less than a G63. So a 550 would have been a more formidable competitor. We know that from a performance perspective, if we're doing this test where these vehicles are not really the message they're trying to convey, even though they don't look like a sports car on the outside, they definitely do perform like a sports car. The G63 definitely would have taken the trophy in all tests when it came to braking, acceleration, and handling, because that's what it's made to do, just like it would, you know, completely stomp out a G550. But to the credit of the G550, in a purpose-built situation for what we use them for today, it would have been a more formidable competitor. I'm not gonna say it would have been on the ice. On the actual lake, I think the G63 had a lot of advantages, being the fact that it had the amount of power that it did,
Gotcha.
you know, and the way that it put it down. It did want to straighten out a lot more than the Defender did. There's no doubt about that. I think that they were, you know, the design there is to keep it more in line with the handling. And once again, the G550 is not built to do that. And the Defender V8, definitely, from what I saw, is a really good performer for what it does. I think from an off-road perspective, it's a great choice. It's a really nice vehicle for that. And I think from a price point perspective, it's really competitive, particularly with the G550.
I think there's a ton of value there. First and foremost, we had a great time today putting these through their paces, making sure that that we pushed them not to the limits, but pretty darn close. I think that Mazen's absolutely right. The G-Wagon is a type of vehicle that on the road, on the pavement, it probably would have beaten the Defender V8 pretty handily. But that's not what we did today. We took a stab at some off-roading. Ultimately, it's going to be up to the viewers to decide who wins. But I think we put our best foot forward today.
The G63, we know, is not the ultimate off-roader. I mean, if you wanted the ultimate off-roader, you get a 4x4 squared, you get a 550 like we mentioned before. We know that it's a serious athlete. However, I have to say that I think we can both agree, given the fact that it can really destroy a lot of supercars that are out there today, having a 0 to 100 km/h time in 3.8 seconds, it's pretty amazing what it could do off-road. And as an everyday supercar, that's pretty awesome.
That's absolutely right. I again want to thank JLR Royal Oak. I think that they gave us an opportunity today to really showcase what we offer. We're not that much slower, 0 to 100 km/h, but 0 to 100 km/h over some bumps across some ice, we've done pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we really appreciate you guys taking the time to bring one out and showing us what it had to do. And it's been a long day, but I hope everyone had as much fun watching it as we had making it today. You haven't seen nothing yet. 2024 has got a lot more reviews from Mercedes-Benz Downtown Calgary, so please like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications, and you're gonna find out when we release the next one. I think you're gonna have a lot of fun watching it.